All right, Rick, now we go from the Crevalle, which is a family-owned business, relatively new to the boat building industry, to Skeeter, which is owned by Yamaha, been around for a long, long time.
A lot of heritage in this boat, Dave, and a lot of it came from the freshwater scene. There've been many a plastic worm thrown out of a Skeeter. Now, this boat's a little different. Her freeboard's not as high. She's built a little lower to the water. There's a reason for that. Less windage, okay, makes it much easier to power with a trolling motor, and you can get a little bit shallower. But there's a lot of features in this boat you're really gonna like, Dave. The Skeeter is tight, okay? Now here's what I mean by that. When we came off a wave offshore, not a pound, not a sound. Okay, you don't get that impact and you don't get the rattling of hinges. That means that every hinge fits perfectly and that everything is in the right place. There's nothing rattling around.
I know you spent some time on the boat today offshore, so why don't you walk me through and show me some of the features that you liked about the Skeeter?
Let's look at it. Dave, there's a lot to like about this casting platform. Couple things for us old guys. 2 levels, okay? Easy step, all right? And just the way I like fish boxes. Long and insulated, one side's a rod locker, one side's a fish box. But I gotta show you the interior of these hatches for you to believe it. There's no fiberglass in there. What you're gonna find inside here is the exact thing you find in the high dollar super coolers. That same roto mold, you can drop an anchor in there, you can throw your boga grip in there. You can't chip these boxes. They're all so fully insulated. In this area up here where the anchor locker is, they did something real smart there too. There's an inspection hatch so you can get to the trolling motor, but that's hard to mount that way. You can actually lift that whole box out of there, gives you access all the way to the bottom of the boat if there's anything up on the bow you want to change.
All right, Rick, before we go any more aft, let's talk a little bit about this T-top that has a second station, because really at 24 feet, that's really the smallest boat you're going to want to put a second station top like this on.
Dave, I'm just a cynical old man. I can't help it. The first time I saw a second station on a bay boat, I thought, oh my gosh, somebody's just got too much money. What a dumb idea. All that went away the second I got up there. Holy smokes, you talk about an advantage on the flats, being able to see down into the water that far. It is, I'm gonna tell you something. I go into another 24 bay boat, it's gonna have that second station. It's worth its weight in gold.
Well, the console itself, it's what you see on most of the bay boats that we've seen so far. I do like the live well in the front seat. That way, if you're live bait fishing off of the bow, you don't have to go all the way to the stern to get your bait.
Yeah, but keep in mind, everything's a trade-off, Dave. Your bait actually rides better in the stern. So I think the live well up front's a great place to put your bait once you get where you're going to fish.
All right, Rick, you know, when I first looked at the Skeeter, I saw the console and I thought it might have been kind of small for the boat, but really, I guess it's not. It really fits well. I like the 2-piece construction because you end up with a toe kick underneath it.
The beauty of simplicity, my boy. Let me tell you something, I'm all for a smaller console because 2 people can pass by the console at the same time. Look at this rocket launcher. Nothing to go wrong, no armrest, none of that silliness. This boat's ready to go fishing.
Well, you know, you're right. Smaller sometimes is better. I mean, like the Crevalle had a much larger console, but you gained a head. In this boat, you give up the head, but just looking at the boat, you can tell this boat is really set up for fishing.
Dave, you're right. Everything on this boat's functional, everything you need, nothing you don't, okay? Nice small console, basic rocket launcher, handholds right here. If your mission is to go fishing, you're gonna have a hard time beating the way they've laid out this 24-foot boat.
All right, Rick, one thing that we need to talk about that Skeeter does on all of their saltwater boats, if you looked inside the bilge, they've got an aluminum plate back there that looks like something that belongs on an ocean racing boat.
You're right. You can pick up the whole boat from that plate back there. It makes makes everything so much more stable. But Dave, more than that, your live well. #1 killer of bait is water flow and heat, okay? So they mold it again, the inside of that live well with the plastic mold. It keeps the bait cooler.
Well, we like the no-nonsense seating. Here again, the rear casting deck, plenty of room back here. Skeeter has really put a lot of thought into putting this boat together for the guy that wants to go out and hardcore tournament fish, or maybe on the weekends take the family out to the sandbar.